That's how you deal with somebody right there. See, Shayla wanted her to go off. Shayla wanted her to basically come out of character, and it backfired. You thought you was going to come at her, and you thought that she was just going to get out of character, when in all actuality, she handled it exactly the way that anybody should handle it. Because in the end, like I said, you come into somebody else's house and yet you're going to blatantly disrespect that person. That's insane. You know, the fact that somebody gonna come to somebody else's house thinking they have the right to judge, because if she was to bring up your dirty laundry, then what? So like I said, I just find it hilariously funny that Shayla thinks that she has the right to come at this woman the way she does. And I get it, that is your daddy. But it seemed to me like you more concerned about your mom than your dad. So, like I said, I do think that he should have been there. But I mean, the fact that even despite Shayla's nasty attitude, I love the way that she's handling it, because most people would have been really feeling some type of way. But she's handling it the way she's supposed to, because at the end of the day, she know that's, the situation. But Shayla, that ain't how you handling it when it come to Amber. You up here talking about she's messing with a married man. Ain't you doing the same thing? You doing the same thing. It's a pot calling the kettle black. What's wrong with you? At the end of the day, yes, that woman basically ended up with your mama's husband. But here's the thing. Your mama pretty much handed her your mama's husband, no differently than Amber did with you. Angeline was so busy focusing on you, she wasn't focusing on her husband, which is how he ended up with Pam. And Pam is his piece. Pam ain't you. Pam is calm, cool, and collective. You are chaotic and bipolar. So, girl, go ahead on somewhere. Please, the love of God, go ahead on somewhere, girl. Because the fact that you really think that you got the right to talk about somebody else when you doing the exact same behavior is beyond crazy to me. That's why I said I'm a different breed of individual, because, like I said, I do my research as well. So me personally, me being who I am, and me being the type of person that I am, I just find it just so hilariously funny that she has the right to sit there and come at this woman the way she does when you ain't no better. You messing with your best friend's husband, which is way worse, because she don't know Angeline, and she doesn't owe Angeline any loyalty, but you owed your best friend loyalty. So yeah, I can't wait for y'all to have this conversation. It's just going to be so very interesting, y'all having this conversation. And the pot calling the kettle black, I do kind of find it funny. But at the end of the day, like I said, sometimes in these situations, a lot of people that do their own dirt think they have the right to judge somebody else. So, and she don't. So at the end of the day, like I said, I just find this just so hilariously funny. I do. So I just, I just, Lord have mercy. I just have no words. I don't. I have none. Because, like I said, you're not going to come in my house and be disrespectful. That's just something you just ain't going to do at my house. So, like I said, I just find it funny that she thinks she has the right to go to this woman's house and disrespect her in the way she has. And already start. But like I said, Pam, you should have listened to Brody and should have waited. Because like he said, that is Angeline. That is his wife's daughter, and she ain't lying. He ain't lying about that. You should have listened. And you about to find out why that you should have listened to that man. Because that man, like I said, oh boy, you should have listened, Pam. You should have listened. You should have listened. You should have listened, because, like I said, in the end, this situation is absolutely insane. But then again, stuff like this don't necessarily surprise me though. Like I said, a lot of people think that they can, get people and change people's minds. Nope, some people you just cannot change their mind. And Shayla is one of them people. So, girl, let that go. You might let that go. You should have not even invited her to your house. Because the first thing she gonna do is she gonna be shady. And you're gonna want to put your hands on her. And that's not gonna be good for you. So, honey, I would just recommend that you just don't. At this point in juncture. Don't even waste your time with it, because like I said, you ain't gonna do nothing but be pissed off. But that being said, I'm going to go to enjoy the rest of my day. I might go live a little bit later and talk about the Country Wayne skits. I don't know yet. It just depends on how I personally feel. But yeah, these Country Wayne skits are getting more and more. They're just getting more and more redundant, to be honest. But I digress. I digress. So with that being said, I love y'all, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.